Started. Okay, well, welcome to those of you who are able to join us, and for those who are going to be listening to the recording, we're glad you're able to do that. Thank you, Ernie, for setting up this time. We regret that we don't have video for everyone, so you'll see whatever we have saved to identify ourselves when we speak. Let me start, or why don't we start with a word of prayer? I wonder, Sophia, would you be willing to lead us in prayer as we get started?
Of course. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for your protection, for your blessings. We thank you for your provision. We pray that this meeting go in the right direction, your direction, and that you bless the presenters and the people attending this webinar. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Sophia. There are a few things I want to go through for the team, just some updates on various projects. The first one has to do with Ernie and some work that he and I are doing together in putting together an ed tech conference for Latin American schools. Ernie's business is interested in expanding their footprint in Latin America, and I had some interest expressed to us to help from a group in Brazil, a school in Brazil. It looks like we'll do it in Panama early in 2025, but we don't have dates or any logistics set yet. Ernie, you aren't aware, but after I reached out to a few of the client and former client schools in Panama, the first two have responded with a high level of interest. So, you know, my hope is we can have a foundation of participation from schools in Panama, and then whatever international we can get to join them. So that's moving forward, and we'll provide more information. And for team members, you know, affiliates of Global, whether or not we want to expand or connect that to any other type of programming is something that we can talk about going forward. But the core of that initiative is ed tech. The second is the Ranch Gals, you know, our ladies who meet together regularly, have a real interest in burden, and we have both Sophia as well as Janet on the call. Both of them are very involved. We're putting together PD for teachers, to begin with, at least in Costa Rica and Honduras, for 2025, which will be focused at schools that either don't have the resources to access high quality professional development for teachers, or who, because they don't have the English competency, aren't able to access the high quality PD. So that's moving forward. We're talking to schools in both countries, probably San Pedro Sula in Honduras and in San Jose, Costa Rica, in order to do that. So that's moving forward. Sophia or Janet, do you have a comment to add to that?
Sophia, do you want to go ahead and talk?
Yes, I truly believe that God has provided enough guidance for us to feel comfortable in the direction we're going. I think this is going to be of high benefit for schools who, like David said, have very little access to professional development because of the language barrier. Most of the, I would say all of the conferences, international conferences in Latin America, offer mostly English workshops in English and a few in Spanish. But in addition to that, it is costly to go to those conferences. So we're trying to bring good quality training to these schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So stay tuned. And I'm excited about the direction that that's taken. And thank you both for sort of leading the charge with that. I also wanted to mention the Houghton University Summer Symposium, Houghton University in Western New York, the university that is next door to Toby's school, Houghton Academy. The Summer Symposium in August. I know that Jen and Digital Consultants will be there, one of our affiliates. I'm looking forward to meeting her face to face. I assume, Toby, you're involved this year. I hope so. And I'll be there. I'll be doing a little work with board leaders, hoping to cultivate some interest among the board leaders. Toby, do you have a comment about the symposium?
Well, just that my faculty and staff will be there for the first day. It actually, this year, the dates overlap with our teacher orientation. Our school year starts the very next week. So not all of our teachers nor myself will be able to participate in the whole symposium this summer, but me and the team from the academy will all be there on the Friday or the Thursday. What is it, Thursday, Friday? Whichever it is. But
Thursday, Friday. Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, but then Friday we've got new student orientation. We've got a school picnic. We've got a lot of events going on the academy on that day. So that'll tie us up. But we'll participate in the first day of the symposium. So looking forward to it.
Well, I'm still planning on the Travis bread and breakfast. So,
you got it. Your reservation is in.
Yeah, okay. Anyone who wants to know more about that symposium, it's a relatively small, fairly local event in Western New York. But if anyone's interested, just reach out to me or to Toby, and we can point you in the right direction. There's also a project that Toby and I are involved in that I want to mention to you. If someone else has interest in perhaps being involved with us, it's a leader mentoring and coaching program that we're putting together, primarily focused at international schools. Tentatively, I'm leaning toward the name Empowered Leaders, empowered with the ED, stealing from Toby's model. But the idea of this is that there are so many school principals and heads of school who are being promoted from within schools that are not prepared and they're not experienced, haven't developed the leadership competencies in order to really be poised for success. And one of our client schools in the Dominican Republic asked us if we could help. And so this program is being developed. I know at this point we also have a school from Chile that will have a leader involved, and we'll begin to launch that as soon as we have a few more things nailed down. But if anyone is interested in being involved with empowered leaders, please reach out to me, and I'll see how we can engage your involvement. We do have a few experienced heads of school, international leaders that have agreed to serve as mentors, coaches who are not involved in global, so it goes beyond global. I'm also going to put in the chat a link for a podcast that was done by Kel Fenn recently, and we thought that perhaps that would be of interest to you. So I'm going to post that in the chat. Oops, the chat is disabled. Is there a way to enable that, Ernie?
I'll look into that as well.
Okay. If not, I'll send it to everyone. And for those of you who aren't aware, Kel has been hired to serve as a professor at Liberty University. Is that correct, Toby?
Yep.
Yes, correct.
So that's where he's headed. He's probably there now. But anyway, keep Kel in your prayers. He's also got his book that is just about ready, a second book, I think it is, just about ready to launch. So these are exciting days for the Fenn family. All right, anyone else have either announcements or updates for us before we turn it over to Ernie? Okay, if not, Ernie Delgado, I think you've met previously in one of our meetings, but Ernie and his group Beyond Technology Education is part of Global and is very active in working with us trying to get services to schools that are in need of their services. And the purpose of this time is for us to become familiar and aware. And Ernie, I'm sure, will share about some discounts he's offering to schools that are in the global sphere of influence in order to access services and products at reduced price. So Ernie, please make sure that that's addressed as well. So Ernie, it's all yours.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. Ernie Delgado, CEO of Beyond Technology Education. I'm coming to you from the West Coast of the US in a place called Chino Hills, California. We're kind of on the outskirts of Orange County, technically in the Inland Empire. It's kind of close to Disneyland, if that helps. And we're very excited to be a partner with you all and what you do with schools internationally. Although we've dabbled internationally, this is a great way for us to really establish a more consistent presence and really be able to help school leaders internationally with educational technology solutions that I think would really benefit your schools. And I'll touch on some of those today. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Can you see my presentation that's on the screen here?
I can.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, something's working this morning, finally. Good to hear. I also turned the chat on, David, so that should work. And anyway, you know, in the 23 years that Beyond Technology has been in business, our obsession is helping young people prepare for the future of work. And that really means working with you all, schools, to give you the ability, tools, resources to share that passion with your young people. And also that includes getting teachers involved. So we have resources that really tap into all levels of the school building. Now, the challenge is just where we're at in the history of the world in our time. And technology has really created exponential growth in many areas. And a lot of those areas are where our students will one day go work or for university. And what we find is K-12 as a system kind of has not kept up with that exponential growth. It's very challenging. In fact, it's probably impossible. But what we can do is provide opportunities for students to be aware of what's available or coming to them in their future, and also provide teachers with resources to start preparing through a project-based learning environment, which we employ, to start gaining skills and ideas that will lend to a better future for them, not only through college and career, but just in their lives as a whole. And just some of the statistics that have come out recently have really put a really bright light on the fact that the future and the jobs that will be available will be very different than where we're at today. And we don't come at this from a doom and gloom standpoint. We come at this from an opportunity standpoint. How can we together provide opportunities to make sure students know what's possible and start giving them a little bit of an edge, so that as they get into college and career, they have the skills that'll help them be competitive and provide for their families. And we've developed a model to help you, help schools navigate this issue if and when it becomes a priority, and the school decides that it wants to become a technology school. So the model consists of 6 areas. Really, it's 4 areas with 2 options. So let me kind of dig into what those areas are. The first is the computer literacy curriculum. Now, digital literacy as a concept, understanding applications, understanding how to problem solve, understanding just a variety of things that are critical as far as technology is concerned, and following standards such as ISTE, CSTA, and the variety of technology standards that are available out there, making sure you have a well-rounded curriculum plan in place that covers all grade levels. We have a very strong foundational curriculum, which I'll dig into in a little more detail, called Technology Plus, the K-8 project-based learning curriculum, which is really the foundation of everything we do. It gives the students all the basic skills starting in kindergarten, and in some cases pre-K, so they can build on those skills into the future and really be very powerful users of technology by middle school, sometimes earlier than that. The second area is our custom technology lesson, our integration projects. What we have found is a lot of teachers go to conferences, they're on TikTok, they collaborate with each other, and they come up with these really great ideas or things they want to do, but they don't have the time or ability to create these lessons. This is where we come alongside the classroom teachers or school administrators or technology or curriculum leaders and develop powerful projects with their vision and our ability. Together we create integration projects that meet the need of the school. Generally that happens alongside our computer literacy curriculum, so both are happening. One is a more general approach, obviously our Tech Plus, and the custom lessons are more specific to that school. And over time, the more content we develop, more specific content, then the school really has a strong technology component that blends basics with real advanced specific skills for that area, region, or country. The third important element of our program is professional development. This is where I met with Sophia from your organization, and she was very interested in how we could help her teachers get firsthand information on how to leverage technology to improve teaching and learning. And this is kind of how the conversation started. Then David got involved, and here we are. And we're very excited for that opportunity. And so our professional development obviously is mostly delivered through Zoom or some type of meeting tool. We do have bilingual support on staff, English, Spanish. And so we're really able to do those three things very well with this group. And really from from a personal perspective, this is actually part of my dream of our company, which I'm one of the co-founders, that we do impact young people globally. We do think there's a lot of opportunity to share what we've learned over 23 years with your school communities, and this is just that first step, and we're very excited about it, and look forward to seeing where it goes from here. The other three elements of this model, project management. For most of our projects, there's someone from our team that's kind of hands-on to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. I kind of consider this a customer service / quality control part of what we do. And in some cases, that even includes a little bit of digital marketing. And what we have found over the years is that a lot of schools maybe aren't real comfortable or adept at marketing what they do. And in this scenario, there's so many amazing things we're doing with students and technology that are very visible and visual. And as a lot of schools are trying to either maintain or grow enrollment, in today's world, that really happens to be through digital marketing, social media in particular. So we help them with capturing videos, with capturing images, and really making sure that not only the school community, but the general population in that area is aware of what the amazing things are that's happening at that school. We don't want to be in a bubble. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of the amazing things happening, and we actually intentively help figure out how to market those ideas to the community. The other two are kind of options. In some situations, we actually provide IT support. That would be a little more challenging here just because of the distance, but if there's remote support, or if there's even just some recommendations, it's something we could help with. There's also some situations where we can help you staff a position. If there's a certain computer teacher or technology coach, or even an IT professional position that you have, we could share with you some of our resources and help you staff that. We wouldn't staff it directly, obviously, again, for the distance purposes, but we do have expertise in finding people, and we would definitely step in and help in that area. And then the last area is something that we are working on and will be available in the future, and that's the next generation school certification, where a school that has worked with Beyond Technology has kind of worked through these first three areas: curriculum, custom lessons, and PD. And at some point in the future, if they have at least half of their staff certified with Google as an education, Google Workspace for Educator, Apple Education, Microsoft AI or Educator, Canva Educator, if half of their staff has those professional certifications, that's going to help them towards earning this next gen school cert. So it's something we're working towards. It's not available yet, but we are helping schools make sure their teaching staff has those certifications, and that they are getting trained and prepared for that. We think it's not just a practical project to make sure all your teachers have these abilities, but again, back to strengthening your school, making your school more visible, moving from a school to an institution where the community, wants their kids to go there. The more that you could build up your staff, the better. So that's the model. Let me kind of dig into some specifics. Now, when it comes to the technology, yes, please do ask the question.
Can you go back, please?
Yes.
Okay, I put one thing in your Q&A, that with your computer literacy curriculum, is it ETSI standards based? What do you do for your standards?
We meet all the ISTE standards, yes. There's also the Computer Science Technology Association standards.
Okay.
There's like 4 different standards that we meet. We also, in the United States, there's 2 states in particular, California and Florida, that have very high standards. We meet all of those, and we have found if you can match those 2, you match everybody. But ISTE's one. We don't pay ISTE to say that we're ISTE certified, but we do meet all their ISTE standards. And that is kind of the international standard that we've followed for years.
Okay. And then does the curriculum and the technology lessons show alignment to those?
We do have an alignment document. It's a separate document. Yeah. And
So
also in the lesson plans itself, it does call out different standards that are identified within the curriculum. And also, if any of you are familiar with Curriculum Track, which is a curriculum mapping software that identifies standards, we're also embedded into that tool.
You're embedded into that tool, meaning your curriculum is embedded with that
Within Curriculum Track. Curriculum Track has thousands of users around the globe. They're a faith-based, primarily a faith-based curriculum
I
mapping.
know them very well.
Oh, okay.
So my question though is, for clarification, somebody inputs a curriculum into Curriculum Track that is aligned to standards. So are you saying your curriculum is available to be put into Curriculum Track?
Our curriculum standards are in Curriculum Track. So that if a teacher's
saying
looking at a standard, it'll say BT next to it, and then they could click it. And no, they'd have to purchase it separately. It's not
So
just
you
because you
have
have Curriculum
your own
Track.
set of standards then. You have your own set of standards then. You have your beyond technology education, because that's different than these other standards then. That's what I'm wondering.
We do have our own standards, yes, and they do align with other standards.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes, go ahead, Sophia.
Thinking about the Latin American schools, where there's schools that have high technology skills, others none.
Yeah.
What would you say is the basic requirements for a school to be able to be part of this?
Well, that's an interesting question, because we do work with a couple schools in Latin America. I think David has talked to them already. And the way our curriculum is developed, it's developed by levels. So even though it might say K-8, within each grade level, there are different levels that they can meet the need of the student. We are working to improve that so that there's more levels down and more levels up, so that we can meet the needs of a variety of different schools. However, when we train staff who's going to be delivering or using this curriculum, they are trained how to adapt it up or down, going to a different grade level if necessary. What I have found when it comes to technology, students catch on pretty quickly. They kind of look at it in a gamified way, and it's more of a fun activity. It's not a tedious activity. And as you know, if it's fun and exciting, usually you catch on a little quicker and are more excited to learn. So a variety of ways. There's modifications within the lesson plans, plus the training that we provide gives teacher suggestions on how to go up or down. Now, right now, most of the delivery we've done has obviously been in English. However, it is all delivered through LearnDash. And LearnDash is a delivery tool which allows the lessons to be changed into other languages with the click of a button. So that's another way that might make it a little easier to comprehend on one end, is if it's in the native language. But yeah, there's a lot of training that's involved before we let teachers just run with this. And that's kind of the main area where they learn how to adapt it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Are there other questions before I move on? I don't see any hands up.
David asked something about student engagement.
Look at this chat here.
No, that was in the chat relative to Kel's topic
Oh, okay, sorry. Right.
for his webinar.
Okay. But yeah, I will, if it was pertaining to this one, students do get engaged with technology skills. And again, you know, if I had kind of, when I explain our program versus other options out there, there's two kind of extremes when it comes to EdTech. There's your gamesy, appsy, video, animated, colorful based products, which there's tons of those. And then we're more on the project-based learning side. We do use some games and apps, but really at the end of the day, we are trying to demonstrate real world use of technology. And that is one thing that separates us, is that we want to make sure students are introduced to technology in the way they're eventually going to use it in the real world, college and career. You know, very few of us play games for our jobs. We actually need to learn how to problem solve and collaborate and use real world tools. And that's how our curriculum is developed. So if you take a look at this screen, I'm showing the different levels. Our curriculum is designed to really cover level 1, 2, and 3. We knock that out of the park, starting in kindergarten, spiraling through the scope and sequence that we've developed up into middle school. And we've had very, very good luck where our students leave, you know, definitely in 8th grade, but sometimes even earlier, they have better skills than the high schools they go into. Now, we do have advanced modules for high school as well. And in some cases, if the high school hasn't had our K-8 curriculum, where did my screen go? They still can, you know, catch up. Level 4 are areas that we could partner to help the school. Usually there's an additional investment, additional training, and more resources required, but we can help schools get into some of those more shiny technology areas. But at the end of the day, level 1, 2, and 3 is really your practical skills. These are kind of must-have abilities just to function in today's working world and university levels and in most high school levels, to have these skill sets. And there's projects built around all of them.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please go back? Okay, I see Makerspace, I see STEM stream, which I don't know, I've heard about Steams, all kinds of Steams, but not stream. But would a school following your curriculum, could they consider themselves a STEAM or STEM or stream school just by following your curriculum? I know additional elements are needed. The reason I ask is that I'm currently working with a school. They call themselves a STEAM school, and I don't see any traces of STEAM anywhere. So, you know, there is a misconception that just by simply putting together a few projects, you can be called a STEM school, at least in my country, that's happening. So where would your curriculum, following your curriculum, place a school in terms of STEAM or STEM or stream?
So very good question, Sophia, and a very good observation as well. And something that is kind of drives me nuts as well. I see a lot of schools that label themselves as STEM, STEAM. Stream includes religion, by the way, the R's religion.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a lot of
nice.
schools. Yeah, we have a lot of schools here that are called technology magnet schools. And when I go there, or to a STEAM school or a STEM school, I expect to see some really cool hands-on project-based learning. And usually there's nothing. A lot of these schools will start up. They might have a teacher that's innovative, or a school leader, or a board, or someone says we need to do this. And maybe they do it for 1 year, and then whoever that person was left, and the momentum is gone, but they never changed the name. Now we help a school get on track with STEM, STEAM, stream. I would not say, Sophia, year one that you're a STEM school just from our using our curriculum. Over time, yes, but not the first year. You're just getting the ball rolling. Um, Now, as far as when you would give yourself that label, that's variable. We could advise you and help you figure that out. But I think you'd have to have a significant project-based, hands-on learning in the STEM fields through most grade levels in order to call yourself a STEM school. And in
Definitely.
this scenario, you're just kind of touching on it. It's kind of a survey of a lot of different technology areas. But if you remember from the first slide, the 3 areas, those custom lessons, that's where you could really tackle the identity of the school. The integration projects is where the school could say, we want to be, you know, a robotics school. We want to be a STEM stream school, or, you know, AI inclusion school, all these things. When they make that decision, and that's kind of the identity of the school, that's where the custom projects can really start putting a stamp on the brand of technology that school really wants to showcase. And so over time, because it takes time to write and implement these projects, over time you can become a STEAM school.
Thank
I have a
you.
question. I have a question.
Yeah.
I like what you said about, you know, the fact, and it is true that a lot of other companies and programs are sort of coming up from the gaming point of view, like
Yeah.
their coding is to do that, or robotics, which you have in your level 4. So can you give us an example of what your company considers to be a PBL related to your curriculum?
Well, I'll say right now, most of our schools, this is just happened organically, are using Google Workspace for education, along with Google Classroom. That seems to be the tech stack, ed tech stack of choice. And within that, we've taught them, well, that's cool. You could do a lot of projects there. So the students are opening templates, in some cases in the younger grades, or in the older grades, they're just walking through a lesson plan, and they're able to then, you know, start working towards creating a project. And a lot of times that's done collaboratively. One of the things I would like to do, and this was meant to be just kind of a general overview of our program, is to get someone from our leadership team to come on and do a full-on deep dive into a curriculum and how it's laid out, lesson planning, because that's a pretty big conversation that really requires more time. And I would want Monica Castillo from our team to actually do that. And I'm going to ask David if we could put that on the schedule and do another follow-up webinar where it's deep diving into Tech Plus, because there's so much going on in Tech Plus that you can't get into it in a 30, 45-minute webinar. But if we gave it its own 45-minute spot, I think it would answer so many questions. We could give you some specific examples of how the lesson plans work and in how the project-based model that we use is employed. Is that fair to reschedule to get deeper into that?
I think to answer my question, I guess that maybe you need that.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on in the lesson plans, and once I start, it keeps going. It would just take over the rest of the conversation. But yeah, project-based means the students are using real-world tools, and they're solving real-world problems. And, you know, if I could, can I move forward to a different slide where I might give you a little more context?
Sure.
Okay. This is the slide I love to kind of sit on for a minute, because Tech Plus is 4 units. Each unit is 9 weeks. So generally it's a 36-week curriculum. Now, is it exactly 36? Well, obviously a lesson you could stretch or contract. So you could fit this pretty much into any school year. Sometimes we have some schools that just want to do a semester or a trimester or just a quarter of tech. You could do that, obviously, but it is designed for every student in K through 8 to get one 45, 30-minute lesson in kindergarten. First grade could go up to 45, and it could be up to 50, 55 minutes per week in a structured technology lesson. And if you look at Unit 1, Unit 1's called Content Creation, and it's the theme is called Becoming a Goal-Getter. And let me just pause there for a moment, because the most valuable, in my opinion, the most valuable part of our curriculum, yes, we're teaching tech skills. There's lots of ways to teach tech, but we add a layer of character development. And, you know, you can't teach a student often enough to say please and thank you, and some of the other important elements. So all the projects, when I say project-based learning, are built around character development. So yes, Unit 1 is about creating content, and it's called Becoming a Goal-Getter. But really, they're getting into word processing, graphic design, web design, and blogging skills. And if you look at the projects or the main theme by grade level, in kindergarten, it's kindness. First grade is self-control, learning choices, digital footprint, SMART goals, netiquette, finding balance, overcoming stress, self-motivation. And so the students are introduced to all these topics through a lesson that's project-based, covering those tech skills with the overarching theme of becoming a goal-getter. Unit 2 gets into computer programming, and it's about relationship skills, developing character, respecting others, social emotional choices, celebrating uniqueness, how to listen and respond, walking in someone else's shoes, helpful hacking, grit, doing hard things. Next, Unit 3, what we're changing, it's still going to be around data and making responsible choices, but it's going to be about financial literacy. So the topics may change a little bit, but it's around spreadsheets, data analysis, and visualization, choosing gratitude, choosing perseverance, healthy choices, choosing time wisely, healthy food choices, health triangle, care for the earth, healthy movement, digital literacy, and finances. We're really just pumping that one up across the grade levels. And then Unit 4 is presentation design, instilling a growth mindset. So it's around video, multimedia, stop motion, vlogging, screencasting, listen and learn, digital citizenship, growing in many areas, decision-making, talents developed through habits, growth mindset, friendship, and family, helping others grow, the power of yet. And the whole curriculum for last year, and I believe right now they're doing all the final touches for next year, so it's not finalized, but it's called Creating World Changers. So we're really trying to give values, character, in a very general sense to students. It does come from a biblical perspective. The author of the curriculum came from that world. And again, it's 36 weeks, project-based. I mentioned that it's translatable into a variety of languages. It's all delivered through LearnDash, which is a digital curriculum delivery tool. And a lot of our schools just capture what they need from LearnDash and they import it into their Google Classroom or whatever LMS they're using. And at this point, we haven't found an LMS we can't work with. So it pretty much integrates into everything. And I see Toby has his hands up. Sir, what's your question?
Really kind of going back, or anybody, you can address it at any point. So I'm working in a secondary only school, so we don't have
Yep.
an elementary program. One of the things I observed last year in our tech classes is even, kids coming in at 8th, 9th grade, depending on the school that they're coming from, just had no basics.
Yeah.
So I was amazed how many kids really needed an intro to apps course. So when, I see, you've got this scaled, presuming a TK to 8 model, but can this also be adapted, or is it flexible enough that, I could see this Unit 1 working with 6th graders, for example, but they're not going to want to engage in a kindergarten curriculum, if it's labeled as such. So to what extent is the curriculum locked into those grade levels?
Yeah, well, from a standard standpoint, it is based on K-8, but yeah, you're right. The middle school curriculum can definitely be leveraged upward, especially in an environment where they've had no tech before, and you could take the grade levels off and use it that way. Because yes, it is individual grades. It's not all one document with all the grade levels together. And again, these are teacher resources. So the teacher plans, lesson plans, they're the ones that are populating their LMS, so the students access the templates and the guides and the lessons that they need. But we do have another level of curriculum, David, that that matches more closely with high school, and it's our business curriculum. And our CEO challenge in particular was designed with that point in mind, where the students come into here in the United States, 9th grade, normally freshmen, without tech skills. And so it's kind of a boot camp environment. there, so again, it's leveled so it can address that student that has very little tech, and it can be ramped up with extension lessons for that student that needs more to be challenged more. But that's kind of the solution that we have found. But there's no reason why we couldn't relabel the middle school Tech Plus and make that available for freshmen as well.
Got it. And Ernie, so like I saw that being labeled a semester-based course, is that an assumption of how many minutes per week, or because often technology courses are treated as an elective. They may not be meeting for the same amount of time as a core class. Um, so are these?
Yeah,
Is
these
there
are
a
not. It's
time
90
element
hours.
associated with that?
It assumes it assumes 18-week semester and a 1 hour class time meeting every day. So it's like 90 hours of content for each
Oh,
of those.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so those
And
could be turned into year-long classes as well.
they have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen many schools do that. It could be again quarter, trimester, semester, or an entire year.
Gotcha.
And it could be a weekly or multiple days per week. So it's better to have more content than not enough, we have found. So we built the 90 hours, and we help the school modify and the teacher modify how it's delivered. But
Thanks.
yeah. And so let me talk about these curriculums, because these are also very exciting for secondary single subject environments. And CEO Challenge basically teaches entrepreneurial skills, how to start up a business. And the objective is to build a business plan and to have a business plan competition, like a Shark Tank at the end of the term. The students come in, they start by identifying something they're interested in. We see students with bakeries, with skateboard shops. They come in with all kinds of cool little ideas. But once they design their logo and they make a business card, they take ownership of their idea, and the course it's amazing what the students come up with. But it's exciting to see them understand the fundamentals. We built this curriculum in partnership with a marketing agency out of the up in Central Coast of California that support a lot of Bay Area startups. So the content is very current, it's very relevant, it's very real world. The fact is not every kid's going to go to college or succeed in college. So to be able to have the ability to start your own business, there's a couple guys like Bill Gates, and that he didn't finish college. He did pretty well for himself because he knew how to start a business, and he took his passion and knowledge and created Microsoft. There's a lot of CEOs that you've heard of that did, we're not advocating not going to college, but these are just skills that kind of future-proof your kids so that they have something to fall back on, or to do that in conjunction with their degree. And maybe they figured out that they got that entrepreneur bug and they want to do their own thing. CEO marketing assumes you have a business, and now you just need to market it better. It's very practical digital marketing skills, from SEO to web design to digital email marketing, a lot of different tactics and concepts on how to market a concept, how to get and keep customers. And we also found some students that their families have businesses, and they've been able to help their own families with these skills. And then creating change, developing solutions. It's fascinating how it evolved. We had a lot of students that came to CEO Challenge, and they wanted to do nonprofit work. And CEO Challenge is designed for making money. So we had to create kind of a new, sorry about that. We had to create a new model that supported that idea. And so creating change, developing solutions is about creating awareness campaigns, how to get people to hear your message and amplify your message through social, through video, through oral presentation. And it's a pretty cool curriculum. Again, they're all designed to be semester courses. And then we also have a partner that we could help you with STEM. Sophia, you mentioned this. This is where, those schools that decide they want to be a STEM school, well, you got to have to walk the walk and talk the talk. You need the 3D printers, you need the kits, you need the curriculums to do that. And, this is a tool, a partnership that we bring to you that provides all those resources. So you could look like a STEM school and actually have working STEM labs going. And this is something I normally don't recommend the first year. It revolves around using CAD software to design online on the computer the item, and then you have to have the 3D printers to print. And depending on the size of your school or how many students are going through the course, 3D printers are slow. So you might have to buy several. So again, it's an investment. And Sophia, this might be another reason why schools start as a STEM school and don't end up as a STEM school, because it's kind of expensive to maintain this. You know, the kits are several $100s, the printers are could be thousands of dollars, and then you need to buy all the filament, that's more hundreds of dollars. It's just it's a resource heavy option. We can help you do it, and it's a great option, but I wouldn't sacrifice, you know, the level 1, 2, 3 to do this unless you're in a school where the parents just demand it. And sometimes it comes down to that. You know, we work with a lot of tuition, actually most of our customers are tuition based schools, and you have to keep the customer happy. And if that means they want STEM, you need to figure it out. So we could even help schools figure out how to fundraise for that, get a group of parents together to keep the project going, but we do have the resources to help you become a STEM school. Questions, comments, concern on the first part? Okay. The rest of the presentation kind of flies by pretty fast. The curriculum is really the foundation of what we do. Custom lessons, as I mentioned, most of our custom lesson projects come from ideas that teachers learn from conferences or TikTok, like 75% of them. So we help them take those ideas and bring them to life. We sit down, we scope out the project with the administrator and the teacher, or just a teacher or the curriculum director, whoever is kind of wanting to take on this project. We get their ideas, we come up with an outline, we go and do the research, we give them back a sample of what we think that project can look like. We get their thumbs up, and then we go to town and we develop that project, including the lesson plan, all the links and resources required. Again, a project-based project that would meet the need of their integrated idea. And then PD, you know, right now, a bulk of our PD is around certification. A lot of schools have realized, let's get our teachers on board with certifications. Right now, we have a 94% success rate with Google Workspace for Educators, where we get teachers prepared in under 12 hours. It's usually a group training. Usually it's done over Zoom. And we don't do the certification. We just prepare them for the certification. And again, 90% plus success. But we're also able to do Canvas certs, Google, Microsoft 365. Microsoft also has a new AI for educators certification and Apple certifications. We could prepare teachers for all of those. And we do a variety of trainings, from large group to small group to one-on-one coaching. And we get a lot of value from the one-on-one coaching. But regardless, before we do any PD, we always start with an assessment to really find out if there's 15 or 30 or 50 teachers at a school. Let's understand where all of them are on their journey. And we do that through an assessment. Now, we used to do a 100 question survey, and we learned real quick, teachers hated us from that one survey. They said, this is too much. This is making me feel dumb. I don't like it. The feedback was terrible. So we got rid of the survey. We do an assessment. It's 8 questions. And it just asks, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you want to do here? What do you want to do there? And we get a little more just conversational feedback from them. And then we develop an individual plan for each teacher. And the school will buy a bundle of hours. We'll try to use most of those with large group, but sometimes they want to do grade level or subject specific training. And sometimes they just want a small group of teachers learning about something, or maybe the new teachers. And then we do a lot, because we get so much value from one-on-one coaching and making sure every teacher is heard and listened to and brought along in the process. And then, as I mentioned, we have someone from our team that plugs in and manages the whole project from top to bottom. They're your direct connection between the school leadership, the parents, the teachers, and BTE. That project manager is the go-between that can pretty much answer almost any question. And then I mentioned IT and staffing. We could help you in those areas, but it's not a major area that I see activity in your countries. We do have our conference every year. And yes, I will echo what David said. We do have a couple of our vendor partners that are interested in doing an international conference. As I get more confirmation from them that they're on board, and as I reach out to more, I could see that conference in South America really getting some steam and coming together. And that's pretty much our model. I would like to have if there's any other questions. I do have this on video as well, David, that we could send to the rest of your members that weren't able to make this meeting, and for all of you to review, and we'll go from there. Questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, Ernie, could you share with a profile of the schools that you work with? Is there a sort of a common profile, public, private? You said private, Christian, secular, large, small. What is the profile of the schools you serve?
Well, there's, we service all schools. However, if you looked at our current customers and our, historically our customers, we're a K-12 faith-based school. Most of our schools at this moment are Catholic schools. It's every few years that ratio changes from Catholic to Lutheran to ACSI. Those are kind of the three main levels of schools. We do work with charter schools, public school districts, but those are fewer of our opportunities are in those areas. But right now it's Catholic, Lutheran, ACSI.
Do you have a target? Is there a particular community of schools you're particularly focused at wanting to serve?
It would be those three. We thrive in the faith-based environment because, we speak that language. We understand the values and ideas that they want represented. Our curriculum, because it's based on character development and is based, I'm trying to remember how she described it one time, the developer, the Philippians principle, if it's wise, if it's, you probably know the quote better than I do. It's kind of built around that value. Now, do we advertise it that way? No, because we want to get values into everybody's hands, but it does just match up quite well in the faith-based market. Mostly Catholic, Lutheran, ACSI in that order.
Okay. Others want to jump in with additional questions? We're butting up against the end of our time, but we don't want to shut anyone down.
Well, Ernie, the elephant in the room is always how much. So, talk to us money here. What's it take to get into the program? Are there levels? Are there, what does that look like? Or where
our curriculum, our curriculums are as low as, $400 for a grade level, up to $11,000 for a K-8 4-year license. That's just for the curriculum. PD, it's around $300 an hour. And then integration projects, I want to say right now are $450. Again, we're right between school years, so these numbers might shift a little bit one way or the other. But what David mentioned it, let me see if I can pull it up real quick, David, and if I can't find it, maybe you can. We are providing in your newsletter next month, we're putting together, and we never do discounts. It's not how we normally operate. We would normally just minimize services, but we do want to offer a discount to this group just to get kind of the ball rolling. And it was, I believe, David, do you have that copy that we had agreed on?
I don't have it handy, no.
Do you remember the percent?
I think so, but I don't want to misspeak.
Either do I. We put together, I want to say it's 10 or 20%, and it's going to be in your newsletter next month, of a discount off of all of the things we talked about, all of our services, all of our curriculum. Now, we don't discount on teachers or technology, hardware, but on PD, curriculum integration, those three things in particular, we are going to offer the discount. And if I could find it, I will share it with you. And again, actually all of our stuff is done virtually. So the curriculum is digital. So it's just logging in from anywhere on the planet and clicking the link at our website. And also to purchase is directly through our website as well. So there's going to be a discount code that will come in your newsletter, and it will automatically appear when you check out on the website. So if you go to beyondk12.com, BEYONDK12.com, up on the top, you'll see a tab, a menu called curriculum, and that's where you'll see all of our pricing. I'm not sure who asked that question on how much.
Hey, Ernie, you may not want me to mention it, but I just found the email. It was 25%.
I found it too. 25% is what we do.
Yeah.
David drives a hard bargain. Yeah, it's 25% to all Global School Consulting Group member schools worldwide. So it's as I mentioned, we don't discount normally. So I'm curious, but again, we're excited to be able to support international schools. And I know that budgeting in different countries is different than what we're used to here. And I'm trying to be sensitive to that. And I hope this is a good, gesture to your schools. And I hope that helps. We've been able to sustain based on the pricing that we have here in the States, but I know that might not be realistic elsewhere. So yeah, 25 is pretty significant. So if you go to our website, you can see here on this, actually, yeah, it's on the screen as well. beyondk12.com. At the top, you'll see the link for curriculum, and the discount code is GSCG25, and I'll put that in the chat.
Yeah, now just to clarify, what you're offering there is not exclusively to the international schools in our network. It would be any school that is a global client or that is one of our consultants is working with.
Correct. Anyone in your your network.
So Toby's school in Western New York would qualify for that.
Anyone in your anyone in your network. This is
okay.
Yeah, anyone who falls under global is eligible for this.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, Ernie, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. And as soon as you have the link to the recording, if you could pass that on, I'll make sure we get that out to everyone in all of our affiliates. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. I think it was Janet and Sophia that had the good ones. We want to hear, we know what we know, and we know what we don't know, but we don't know what we don't know. So if there's things from your communities that we need to know about, or issues we need to address, or if there's modifications, by all means, please let me know. And we'd be very happy to set up a consultation. We don't charge for consultations. If any of your schools or clients or partners want to get on a Zoom with us, I'll make sure the video works so we can see each other, and we can have those conversations. We're very open to that.
Very good. Thank you, Ernie. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks.
Yes,
Folks.
thank
Have a
you.
great day. Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Oh, Elisa was with us too. I didn't realize that.
Yes, thank you all. Bye-bye.
Hey there.
Bye, bye.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Ernie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
Buenos
everybody.
dias.
Bye.
Bye.